Liberty by Design. Written by Andy Bratton. Read by Stephen Leger. I've been heavily involved in the student movement for liberty for about 3 years now, so I've inevitably been to a lot of socials. They usually follow some big event and take place in a crowded, noisy lounge or bar, where everyone gathers to drink, laugh, and otherwise be merry. After everyone's had their go at cornering celebritarians and or trying to get Jeffrey Tucker's autograph, conversations settle predictably into answering questions regarding one's place in the liberty movement and plans for the future. It is during these conversations that I tend to experience the fleeting but not insignificant "what the hell am I doing here" panic. Don't get me wrong, I love the people I meet as an activist for liberty. Some of the most interesting individuals and fastest friends with whom I've had the pleasure of associating come from this group. No, the problem, such as it is, always lies in finding common ground in academic and career pursuits. See, these conversations usually start out with, "What's your major?" to which the answers typically are philosophy, economics, public policy, journalism, public relations, etc. While I have a great degree of interest in all of these fields, I can't help but feel slightly out of my element as an industrial design student. With an answer like that, the majority of people inquire further, only to discover that our day-to-day activities have little to nothing in common, leaving us without much to discuss beyond the day's events and the weather. I sometimes feel the need to justify my presence at these events and draw a specific connection between the work I do and the libertarian and anarchist philosophies I hold so dear. That's what I will attempt to do here, not so much because for the purpose of validating my interest in activism, but to lay out an argument for what I think ought to be the next step for liberty activism, to break out of the box of academia and pursue the endeavors of the market as a career or, at the very least, as extracurricular interest. At its core, I find that the heart of the liberty-minded worldview and the primary motivating factor of anarchism lies in allowing and encouraging individuals to structure their lives such that they can produce the most social and economic value. This means granting those individuals the freedom to determine what value to pursue and how to go about pursuing it. Libertarians of almost every variety seem to understand this, but there's an underlying principle here that I think has yet to be broadly understood. The very act of creating value increases the freedom and ability for the original producer and for everyone else to create more. Design can be defined as the application of thought and planning to the creative process in order to maximize the value produced and minimize the time necessary to produce it. This lies at the core of a vast range of fields and activities, including invention, engineering, architecture, and even pure artistic expression. When one applies a design mindset to production, they are actively working to discover the best ways by which a task can be completed. This process involves a study of aesthetics, ergonomics, mechanics, physics, engineering, and a variety of other disciplines, all aimed at how best to improve our lives and the lives of those for whom we're designing. With this in mind, we come to understand that every product that's produced actively increases our freedom to act, and a well-designed product greatly increases our freedom to act. A backhoe and a shovel are both designed to accomplish the same task, to move earth from one place to another. However, depending on the situation, the use of one will certainly be more appropriate than the other, and an inappropriate application of machinery may even serve to hinder one's ability to accomplish the goal rather than advancing it. This task, accomplished quickly and well, serves to free up time that could be dedicated to other tasks or used for leisure. In either case, using a backhoe to move 2 tons of dirt will allow you significantly more freedom of action than using a shovel. Libertarians and anarchists seek to liberate society and economy from the bonds of state power and regulation. We can do this by analyzing the way state power hinders us and by arguing against it in the public sphere. However, this route has its limitations and cannot replace actually practicing what we preach. If liberty is a product, we have to sell it, and it's hard to do that without active demonstration of that product's use. Simply discussing the value of liberated markets and free enterprise with the broader population, or even worse, discussing it only amongst ourselves, doesn't mean much if we don't actually go out and participate in these things. The acts of creation and invention seem to be subjects which we merely talk about, not actively invest in. It's not as if understanding the ideas of liberty and applying those ideas are mutually exclusive activities. In fact, I find that having an understanding of economics and a passion for advancing freedom academically informs and motivates me to create products that advance freedom physically. I encourage liberty-minded thinkers who have the desire to get their hands dirty to participate in design, creativity, and invention. The creation of new products and businesses, by its nature, promotes human liberty. Put down the pen and pick up a paintbrush. Set your mind toward building a freer world rather than envisioning the minutiae of what it might look like. As an activist, reach out to engineers, designers, scientists, and inventors, and encourage them to explore and understand the philosophy of liberty so that it might inform their work. Doing so, we will build a coalition of doers and a foundation from which our ideas can experience new growth and make the world a freer place.